And joining us live in studio, Mosiri Tsiane from the South African Liberty Foundation, and he is their chairperson. Good evening to you, and thanks so much for joining us. I mean, these are very dangerous, especially in times like these where we've had, in recent history, xenophobic attacks. So we are on tenterhooks in terms of messaging or messages that come from leadership regarding national, or rather foreign nationals. What is your view with what has now transpired in the city of Joburg?
I think the mayor there is trying to be a person who really wants attention. He's an attention seeker in this regard. To go around and insult, or rather say something negative about the foreign nationals, it's really not necessary. We have the knowledge that there is no way in which you will prioritize certain people over the other. But in essence, you can't go on national TV and national media and say that the foreigners are regarded as nothing in South Africa. There are legal foreigners, the illegal ones, you can find a mechanism of dealing with them. But in this instance, what we have a person who really is seeking for attention, but above all is throwing an insult, because in general for him, the only foreigners we have are black and African. That's what he has in his mind. And mistreat them, ill-treat them, and put them in that phase. You're insulting it, giving the history of xenophobic attacks in this country. This kind of behavior cannot be allowed, cannot allow a leader in charge of a municipality big as Joburg saying this kind of sentiments, simply just trying to please those that those that have voted for him in this regard, or those that are interested in his leadership. It cannot be.
But are you saying, Mosiri, that there isn't an inherent problem in terms of dealing with illegal immigration? We've seen 80%, for example, according to the Deputy Minister of Police, of residents in the CBD and Hillbrow specifically, is that a foreign national? So how else would you say the mayor could have dealt with this matter?
Well, the accommodation and giving of houses to individuals has to be done through an application. And the application in itself would have indicated whether X individual is a South African, whether X individual, are you foreign, are you South African? Do you qualify for this? Houses are not just built there and people just queue in to be put in like rats, just like that, pick and choose, throw them in. There are applications that are there. Those processes have to be given. And obviously in that application you would have had priorities given to X individual. It's given. But to go around and create a perception that your foreigners in South Africa don't deserve to be here at all, in actual fact, do not even know what the conditions for them are to be here.
Yeah, but he would be informed about the Constitution and the preamble there of being the Bill of Rights, that South Africa belongs to all who lives in it, before making a statement which the foreign national communities have said is very irresponsible, as you were saying, considering our history.
It's true. We're having a person here whose own interest is to, even when you're in government, you still want to create a perception that you're looking for votes. And while you're in there, you're trying to also point a finger and say they failed there and there. We will give priorities to South Africans. The other parties, particularly the ruling party, will not give attention to South Africans. That is the stance, and that is the perception trying to be created in this instance. But once you are in leadership, and you would take care of all your South African citizens. Obviously with priorities given to South African citizens. There's no question about it. But you cannot undermine the other people, more particularly for him. There is foreigners are Africans. Any other foreigner that comes from USA, a foreigner that comes from Britain, that comes from any other of those Western countries, for him they are not foreigners in particular.
Let's take callers 011-542-2186, and Temba in the Val joins us. Good evening to you, Temba. How are you doing, and what's your comment or question?
Hey, Cindy. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm fine. A very serious topic, and sensitive. And
correct.
A sensitive one. Cindy, you know what? It's just that this thing, it's raised by the DA member and the mayor of DA. Look, we need a very serious monitoring of these people that are welcomed in this country. Because, Cindy, look, as a person that I'm staying on the location, we are the people that we are feeling what is happening on the ground. People that are staying in towns, there in suburbs, they don't feel that what we are feeling here. Let's be fair and square enough. We have lot of murderers that even our SAPS also, they can't even identify people that did those murders. Those people, look, I'm staying in Didier. We have lot of houses that is being attacked, robbery houses, people shoot to kill with people of Ghana. Those people, we can't even find it today.
Themba, you know, I think what you're saying is that the reality, again, in terms of migration control and monitoring is a problem. But we also need to be cautious in the messaging, in not to fuel xenophobic attacks, as you're rightfully saying that it is a complex matter and it's not one that has one single approach. Let's take Tsepo in Soweto. Good evening to you, Tsepo.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Fine, thank you. Now say I support Herman Mashaba 100%, which is when you visit the country, it's your own responsibility to know where you're going to stay in that country. It's not the responsibility of that certain country. This is not about xenophobia or whatsoever. That's the truth. So our problem is we don't want to listen to the truth. So the fact is we have to start with our own people. South African people to have houses, and then so that they can be satisfied. They are the ones who are taxpayers, and then they should be the ones who are upfront to get their own houses and in the right place.
Yeah, but so we're also governed by the supreme law of the country, which is the Constitution, and it does provide for everybody who lives in South Africa. And yes, priority needs to be given to indigenous South Africans first. But the thing is, you can't, remove the responsibility of the country to house foreign nationals. I get your point. Thank you, Ziggy. Good evening to you. Hi, Ziggy. All right, let's.
Ezekiel.
Oh, hi, Ezekiel. I beg your pardon. Good evening to you.
Yes. Good evening. I only support the statement.
Yeah, we're listening.
I only support the statement of Mr. Mashaba when he say that he doesn't have enough money to accommodate all illegal immigrants. But I think the government should start controlling the border, because if you can look at the inner city where we are living, we are having the same problem that Mashaba said, because I can assure you that if you visit inner city, one of the bachelor, you can find bachelor flat. You can find more than 20 people living inside that bachelor flat. So they are, most of them, they are illegal. So now, if you are saying that everybody should be accommodated, I think the law should be clear whether it will be legal people or illegal immigrants. So we need to be clear that. But it's difficult, Cindy, for us who are living within the city with those people, because somewhere is right and then somewhere is wrong. So the law should just start from on top there to be controlled.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Ezekiel. Mosiri, is there now a need to revise the law? Because that's again, the Bill of Rights, which is prescribing, in a sense, in terms of what the country is obligated to do for foreign nationals.
No, I don't see any reason why there should be an amendment in this regard. Surely, like one has indicated earlier, this is nothing else but grandstanding and trying to attract as much people attention so that all eyes are on you, and make statements that in themselves they are also causing a problem by having to indicate that all the criminal activities happening in South Africa are caused by the foreign nationals. That foreign nationals, as we look at them, they're subhumans. That is the message that is being sent here. If applications are to be made for housing, obviously, priority will be given to South Africans. And one cannot negate that at a particular stage, you will also have to accommodate your foreign nationals, particularly the legal ones that are here, so that you have your control of those that are here. You've got the record of people that are here. And any other criminal activities that is committed by a foreign national, he'll be treated like an ordinary criminal in that instance. Based on the fact that they are legal in South Africa, they're able to trace them.
Yeah, Mosiri, let's take a call. Pilani, thanks for your patience. Good evening to you.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
What's your comment or question?
Okay, my comment is quite very simple. Is that Herman Mashaba is realistic. He knows what happens on the ground. I fully support his statement. The reality is that nationals, South Africans, has to be taken care of with the constraints of the budget that he has. But another view that I have is that in such a situation, the national government, Department of Housing, must take the initiative and take care of the situation in such a case.
All right, Philani, thanks so much, saying that it's a multi-pronged approach requiring various departments. Tsepo and Medran, good evening to you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. My view is that we tend to take matters and blame foreigners. I think the thing that the government should do is to make all those foreigners that are in the country, make them legal, so that if there is criminal activities that they do, they know who they are. We must not just say foreigners are the cause of. Because if we can blame for foreigners, I tell you, we can talk about this topic for the whole year. So I think Herman Mashaba should just be a responsible citizen and say to the government, let's try and make everybody who's in the country to be legal, so that we will not have these problems and these statements that are premature.
All right, let's test that theory, whether it is probable or whether it's something that government ought to look at to try and accommodate as many foreign nationals onto our database.
Well, it's quite an enormous target. It's an impossible task to achieve. There's no question about that one. What you're saying is that those that are here, the people that are supposed to be here legally, do you have their records? Those that are not here legally, obviously are illegal in themselves. You've got to return them back, which is a process that is happening almost on a regular basis. Those that are not here need to be verified, and if not, returned back home. There are mechanisms in which people qualify from having come from other countries. What are they here for? The applications that are there, that is controlled by the Home Affairs. Yes, one will agree that you need to increase your borderline security, make sure that there is proper controls in that. The system has to be intensive in that line. But you cannot for a minute look at other people and consider them an obvious criminal. They are even criminals as they walk. When you see them, you say, these ones are criminals. They are even judged before. There are a lot of good people that come from foreign countries. There are also bad people that come. There are good South Africans. There are also bad South Africans. But it doesn't mean that at an instance as you look at them, when you see a foreigner, automatically, they're not entitled to protection of South Africa. They are here. Once they are here and legally supposed to be in South Africa, they're entitled to rights.
All right, let's take a call. I'm Tutuzeli. Good evening to you, and thanks for holding.
Yes, how are you, Cindy?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm fine. Cindy, I must say that for the mayor to make such public statements, it's really unbecoming. If you are a member that is holding such a public office, and then you make such a statement, you are painting a very wrong image, not only for the municipality or the metro that you are in, but for South Africa. So for the mayor, he must not use his emotions. Every time if you have to say something, he must go and refer of which what does the constitution of the country says about the foreigners. And then coming to housing and all that, and then definitely there are strictly policies and everything that can be followed.
All right, Mtutuzeli, no, I understand that you need to obviously be of a sober mind before you make statements. He did, or at least his spokesperson qualified in that the Constitution does provide for foreign nationals, but not at the expense of locals, especially with the backlog that we have. Let's go back to the image that this creates to the rest of the continent, primarily, as you're saying, that it seems it's more Afro-pessimism than what it is really dealing with criminality from foreign nationals, I beg your pardon.
That's the impression that has been given, and it's a kind of a racist statement that one does in that regard, that your only problems that you have in this regard are black Africans who are who are foreigners in South Africa. Therefore, they will not even have any benefit whatsoever. They will not be given any attention whatsoever. That is the kind of a problem that we have, that at automatic you qualify people as being a problem. Just to give another example, Cindy, in certain instances, you will find that South Africans who have houses rent them out. The people that are houseless are actually those that are renting those houses together with the shops all over South Africa have been rented out. So South Africans themselves, they get the houses, they rent them out to foreigners.
So you're saying that criminality is not something that's imported necessarily. It does find a home, and it's extended by the various syndicates that are wanting a quick buck or for whatever reason get involved in these things.
Criminality, you go to our courts in general and you do an assessment that if you were to do an assessment of people that are arrested in there, you find that South Africans are the largest ones that are arrested. So you cannot therefore conclude that all the criminal activities happening in South Africa are committed by foreigners that come from Africa.
Yeah, speak to us about diplomatic ties and responsibilities we have to the rest of the continent, that if our African brothers and sisters are seemingly not welcome or discriminated against, what message that sends to the rest of the
Very
continent?
negative one. South Africa, among the trade that it has, it's tourism. And your biggest group or your biggest people who visit South Africa in the largest number are not from your Western countries, are from Africa. So what are you saying to them? That those that would want to visit South Africa for tourism, in actual fact, they're the most unwelcomed one. So you're sending a very negative. We are the last country in the continent, in actual fact, to have found our freedom. The support that we've received has always been through our brothers and sisters in Africa. One will say we don't owe them that much. We went to them in exile, but we never stayed in there. That is not the crux of the matter. The fact remains, these are our brothers and sisters, and these are people who are our neighbors. And in all, their interest is for the growth of South Africa, so that South Africa can come and invest in them. All of them, they're holding South Africa in the highest regard. Whatever decision, you are the teacher of democracy. You are the ones who teaches us how best can we become the better Africans. Now, if we were to spat on their face and tell them that you are actually nothing in our country.
But are you saying that we shouldn't prioritize South African citizens, though?
No, one is not saying that we should not prioritize. In actual fact, one is saying priority automatically falls into the South Africans. There's no question about it. That one, it is given that the priority will be given. But when you see foreigners and you create an impression that they're the ones who are occupying all these rents, that are renting out the RDP houses, they are renting out because South Africans have rented it out to them. That's why all the shops, a majority of the shops that are owned within your township and your villages are in the hands of the Pakistans. Who are the owners of those shops? They've rented out. The business people of South Africa, those that were owning those ones, have rented out to the Pakistan. Now you have a problem with them when you've rented out and the South African is benefiting in that instance. We have a mechanism in South Africa that is accommodative. We have a constitution that protects the rights. Let's do that.
All right, Masiri, we're going to leave it there. Masiri Tsiane is with the South African Liberty Foundation as their chairperson. He's also with Masiri Tsiane and Associates. And you at home, thanks indeed for calling in as well on this interactive platform. We'll take a quick ad break. We'll see you shortly.